This week I'm flying on what I'd been told was one of the world's best regarded airlines. Instead, I was left feeling, well, pretty underwhelmed really. Stay tuned for a tale of plastic cups, terrible lounges and wet wipes as I take a flight on Japan's most premium airline, ANA.
Well, good morning from beautiful Thailand. I'm here in Bangkok. I got here about 11 hours ago from Tokyo, and now I'm going to jump on a plane back to Tokyo because I'm heading home with a connection in Japan.
So let's cover the important things first then. Why am I flying from Bangkok back to the US via Japan when I've only just arrived from Japan? Well, basically that's because flights from Japan to the US are insanely expensive. On the flight that I wanted to take today, it was going to cost me about $8,000 to get a flight from Tokyo to San Francisco, but instead, if I flew from Bangkok, it was only going to cost me $1,400 instead. That's a massive saving, and it also meant that I got to review Zip Air as well on my last video, so make sure you check that one out if you've not seen it already.
Alright, so we're flying on ANA today, or Nippon Airways, back to Tokyo Haneda Airport and then connecting onwards back to the US, which I think was a sign for ANA there. So let's see if we can get checked in and get on our way back home. Good morning, how are you? I need to fill this in, I think, so. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think I booked a window seat when I booked it, so. Hang on, yeah. Okay, 7A I booked.
For in the system, there's no have any.
Really?
Window seat for you.
Yes, okay, right, okay, but just the first one, there's no. Right, okay. Well, if there's no. if there is no window, then that's. Thank you.
So it seemed, despite having booked a window seat, their system had lost the seat reservation and they were going to put me in an aisle seat. Well, it's not the best start, but I'd have been happy in the aisle if that's all they had. But the agent was kind enough to call through to see if they could find me a window seat after all.
And so in this video, we have the two window seats.
Okay.
The last row and the first row.
Oh, right, okay, perfect. Either will be fine, whichever. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Side.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate your help. Thank you. Have a good day. Oh, that was very kind of her. All checked in, and she's managed to get me a window seat on the first flight, even though they didn't have any available. There was a couple blocked off, but she's unblocked one for me, so that's very kind of her, isn't it? Thank you. That was all relatively straightforward. Straight through to departures now. It only took about 2 or 3 minutes to get through all that lot. Security's quite easy, as was passport control, really. So now we're heading for the Miracle Lounge.
I do like these beautiful art installations that they've got here in Bangkok Airport.
Hello, good morning.
The Thai Airways lounge here at Bangkok is pretty nice. It's only been open for a few months and it's really nice when you get inside.
Alright then, got caffeine, and I come to the Thai Airways Royal Orchid Lounge here. It's only been open, well, I say it's not been open very long at all. They opened it literally just before COVID hit, and then it was shut down for 2 years, so it's only recently reopened again, and it's really, really nice. It's beautiful. They've got all these sort of like bushy things around, so it's nice and private, loads of seating areas, and it's really really nice choice of food and drink as well. But I'm not eating today in the lounge because I'm going to eat on board. All right then, time to head down to the plane. It's quite a walk actually from this lounge. This is on C Gates, the Thai lounge, and we're going from F Gates today, which is like literally the opposite end of the airport. So I've left a few minutes earlier than I would have liked to. Alright then, there's my plane back to Tokyo. Literally left Tokyo yesterday afternoon, and now we're the following morning heading back to Tokyo again. To connect through this time though, on the way back to the States, all Nippon Airlines, ANA, Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, business class back to Tokyo, and then an even more special business class, hopefully, fingers crossed, on the flight then from Tokyo back to San Fran. But let's go down and get on board. Thank you. Hello, Peter. Thank you. Hello, Peter. Hello. Hello, good morning.
ANA 787's in this 121 configuration. The design does feel slightly dated these days, but it's still relatively comfortable, at least for today's 6-hour flight across to Tokyo. There's 8 rows in the front cabin, then there's a galley, and then there's a smaller 3-row cabin just behind it, and that's where I was going to be sitting today.
Alright then, welcome on board the ANA 787-9 Dreamliner in business class. This seat is quite nice. It's not the same as they've got on their 777s. It's very blue and a little bit simpler than the ones I think that they have on their other planes that we're going to get to try later on this journey. But we have a nice big TV screen here. Go through that in a little while, and then we've got it's in a sort of a staggered configuration, like one on the window, one on the aisle. The last window seat they had that they opened up for me was this one here on this side, but it's got sort of one on the aisle effectively, but it's not too bad really. It's only a sort of 6-hour hop up to Tokyo today. So you've got this big unit here at the side, seat controls and everything there. All of your literature and stuff are all in there. There's my view, that amazing view over the 787 wing. And then we've got power there, USB, headphone socket, remote control for the telly and all that sort of stuff there. And we've got blankets here that they've left here. Nice pair of Japanesey slippers. Again, I think they'll be too small for my big size 13 clod-up-in feet, but hey, the crew have been quite friendly so far. Welcomed everybody on board quite nicely. And then pre-takeoff drinks have come round, albeit in a plastic glass, which is a bit seems a bit cheap really. But I don't know. Maybe I think normally the glass one actually have to take off, but plastic glass in business class. I'm not a snob, but I know some people don't like that, and it's a little bit cheap, but hey. It's okay.
Parked at the side of us was this plane owned by Myanmar Airways, who I'd really like to try at some point. Soon after, an airline that I have flown before pulled alongside as well, the delightful Vietnam Airlines. But pretty soon it was our time to push back and get on our way for the flight up to Tokyo. I had to have a giggle at ANA's safety video with comically hilarious cartoon characters. I did wonder if the slightly panicked expression on this guy's face was mandatory during an evacuation. We taxied out past a plane full of unfortunate Cebu Pacific passengers before lining up and getting on our way. My first flight took me out across Vietnam and the South China Sea before crossing Taiwan and up to Tokyo. Flight time on this leg was 5 hours 51 minutes, cruising at 41,000 feet.
Right then, airborne from Bangkok on board the ANA, All Nippon Airways, Boeing 787 Dreamliner. About 5.5 hours left to run now until we get up to Tokyo. My plan for this flight, have a bit of breakfast, then I want to try and get some sleep, I think, because I need to try and start getting back onto Central Time, back to Texas time, because Rachel's just literally gone to bed. It's bedtime. It's sort of 11 PM right now. So if I can try and get some sleep on this flight, maybe a bit on the next flight as well, then it might not be too bad when I get back into Houston. Alright, they've just brought around the menu. Let's have a look, see what we've got. It's quite a nice menu actually. They've got a sake menu. It's a bit early in the day for sake. It's only 10 AM, but you can have a choice of sakes. Kamoshibito and Yamagata. I actually had some sake on the train when I did the bullet train, the Hayabusa thing. I'll pop a link on the screen to that video. It goes to your head very quickly. I am not drinking after 10 o'clock in the morning. Thank you very much.
Cheese and cream rolls.
Ah, lovely, thank you. Can I get the international menu, please? The beef, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Alright, starters turned up for lunch. I've gone for the duck. Me duck. It's okay. It's not bad. Not a massive fan. It's alright. Like a cold meat style, I think. Hopefully the main course is a bit fair. Alright, on for the fillet of beef steak for my main course for my lunch today. So let's try that. It does look very nice, actually. Very nice. It's quite nice. It's a bit chewy, but it's quite nice. Right, then we are starting our descent back down into Tokyo once again, back in Japan. I was only here yesterday. I don't think it's changed much apart from it's now cloudy.
Now, it's fair to say that Japan is an absolutely beautiful country, but like anywhere on a rainy, miserable day like today, it can lose some of its charm somewhat as it all starts to look a little bit bleak. Now, on any other day, these views across Tokyo would have been absolutely superb, but today it's fair to say the weather was just not cooperating. Pretty soon we were smashing down into Haneda Airport, though less than 18 hours after leaving Tokyo the previous afternoon. And that was a bruiser of a landing from Captain Smashdown, and I picked up everything that had gone flying as we taxied into the terminal.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hi there, once again, welcome back to Tokyo, Haneda Airport. I've got a connection, about 3 hours, on the international terminal here to ANA tonight. We're heading across to San Francisco on the 777. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's got ANA's new business class on it. That'll be nice. Hopefully it's a bit better than that one, which I thought was a little bit sort of average and mediocre really, nothing particularly special. So let's see what the next one's like. There we go, thank you. Thank you very much. Do I need to book to use the shower or is it reservation on there? Alright, thank you.
So as I headed into the lounge, I made a reservation for a shower, which came with a wait time of 3 hours and 30 minutes. Now, that should have been a clue for just how busy this lounge was tonight. The lounge was absolutely rammed, and I grabbed a beer from this really cool beer pouring machine before eventually nabbing a perch for a few minutes.
Right, welcome to the ANA lounge here at Haneda. This World Airport lounge is going ain't the best, I have to say. It's absolutely ram-packed full, barely anywhere to sit. And the food options they've got, well, I was hoping for some nice Japanese cuisine, but I've ended up, the only thing they got really was like fried chicken and fries. So I may end up actually having something on the plane in a bit. Anyway, they do have this really cool machine that pours you a beer though. I'm not really into drinking beer, if I'm honest, but I've had to sort of try out that cool machine that tips it over. That was pretty cool. Other than that, it's a bit rubbish really. So yeah. It might be alright if it wasn't quite so busy, but I think the problem is it's just absolutely rammed. It's so over capacity, it's untrue.
I drank up my beer before someone else needed my seat at the bar, and with nowhere else to sit, I headed back outside to find somewhere a little quieter.
Alright, well I can't find anywhere to sit in the lounge, so I'm going to go and sit outside I think instead. Be a bit quieter out there. It's a bit crap really, ANA's service so far. Not massively impressed. It's supposed to be one of the world's best airlines. The business class was a bit mediocre, the lounge is crap, yeah, not entirely enjoying the experience so far, I have to say, which is a shame because Japan is such a lovely country, and just ANA are just a bit crap really, so far. Anyway, who knows, fingers crossed. I'm really holding out for the fact that their 777 might be a little bit better than the 787, and things might improve from here, but who knows. In the meantime, let's go and sit outside, at least we might get a seat outside.
Thankfully, just outside the lounge was a 7-Eleven selling booze and a quiet gate area that was infinitely more comfortable than the lounge.
This is better, eh? Cheers. Oh, that's quite nice actually, and a bit more relaxing down here than it was in the lounge. It's only cost me 600 yen for 2 cans of whiskey and a packet of chocolates. That'll do me until I get on the plane. It's much quieter down here, isn't it? Who needs lounges, eh? Thank you to this week's video sponsor, Surfshark, who always come to the rescue whenever I want to watch some British TV when I'm travelling. Surfshark is a VPN provider, and what that means quite simply is that you can use their software to connect to the internet from anywhere in the world and make it look like you're just at home, which has some really good benefits. For instance, I could be sitting here by a sunny pool in Vietnam and watching some Top Gear on my phone. It lets me watch EastEnders here in the middle of the Australian outback. Oh yeah, I'll have a Castlemaine 4X please mate. Cheers. Surfshark even lets me catch up with Only Fools and Horses while I'm here in New York. Now Surfshark are offering you a massive 83% discount plus 3 months free when you use my promo code Noel Phillips at the link on the screen now. What are you waiting for? Even Baby Shark approves.
As I waited in my own private lounge, I was really looking forward to getting on board the 777 to see what their new business class was all about, and hoping things on my ANA adventure would soon start getting better. But sadly, as my flight time got closer, it also got further away thanks to a number of delays that eventually ended up with us running over an hour late. But eventually it was time to get on board my flight across the Pacific to San Francisco.
Let's hope it's a little bit better than the flight over from Bangkok, and yeah, hopefully we get a bit of a positive experience with ANA. It might be nice, eh?
Thank you.
Thank you. はい、こんにちは。
こんにちは。奥の通路右へお進みください。
Thank you.
I thought it was pretty neat that ANA have these little blinds they pull down in the galleys to make it look a little less industrial when you get on board. And here it is, ANA's brand new business class product, The Room, which is available on some of their 777s, operating flights to San Francisco, New York and some other destinations too. It's really nice, it's in this 1-2-1 configuration, and they're all private suites and facing some forward and some backwards, which is quite nice as well. Like the Dreamliner as well, there's some seats in the forward cabin and then there's a smaller cabin at the back, and that's where I was sitting on today's flight.
Alright then, welcome on board the ANA, All Nippon Airlines Boeing 777. This is a bit nicer than the 787. This is called The Room, and it's basically a full closey door type suite that they have on the 777. They don't have this on the 787s, they don't have it on all of the 777s, just some of the newer ones. And this is fairly good, really. We've got a nice big TV screen there. I'm pointing backwards, as you can no doubt see. The seats sort of go forward, backwards, forwards, backwards. This one is a backwards facing one. It's massive. I mean, look at the size of this. It goes all the way across here. We've got a full closey door there to make it a completely private suite. We've got controls here for the seat and for the lighting and stuff. We've got a remote control for the telly there. We've got a massive TV here. What have we got over here? It's like a little table there that pops out. Is that the full table, maybe? So yeah, full table there. We've got like a little cubby hole thing over here. Open that. We've got a mirror. We've got two sorts of like storage things here. We've got an HDMI port, which is in-op, and we've got a power plug and the USB port and everything over there. That's all quite nice. All quite nice indeed. And then this obviously closes. We've got the reading light up at the top here, and a whole selection. We've got this nice pillow mattress topper thing here. These are really comfy. I had one of these on the 787 on the last flight. That was really nice. It's like a corrugated mattress topper thing, like an aerated thing. It's really comfy, really nice. Then we've got pillows, we've got duvets and everything here, and then we've got an amenity kit here with some slippers, which we'll go through in a little bit. And then what we've got down here, we've got a USB port here, headphone outlet there, we've got life vests and everything here on this side. I'm not going to lie, ANA have sort of improved a bit on this one over the last flight I did with them. This is pretty nice indeed. It's a shame it's only a sort of 8.5 hour flight. However, we are delayed currently, which is a bit nerve-wracking because I do have a 2-hour connection in San Francisco to my next flight. Fingers crossed we make that flight. But yes, my plan for this flight is take off, sleep, and then we'll eat later and figure out showing you some of the other stuff in the suite later on in the flight when it gets light outside. And I've just noticed actually something interesting. These are electric windows on this 777, which I've never seen before. What do they do? Oh yeah. Now that is cool. That is cool. I've not seen them on a 777 before. That is pretty cool. Electric slidey windows on a 777. Very nice. This is alright, this. Honestly, this is better than the 787. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Everything crossed. The ANA pull it out of the bag and we actually get a nice flight over to San Francisco tonight. Let's see. Flight time about 8.5 hours, I think. Fingers crossed to make up some time en route, and we are heading back to the States.
We got treated to some more hilarious Japanese animation as we pushed back with a new one this time too, presumably meaning if someone's doing a loo review and taking too long in the bathroom, wave your arms in disgust before trying to tug the door open. I did find it pretty cool though that the ANA 777 has got nose cameras as well, so you can see that on the screen as you're taxiing out. I also do love a seat where you sit backwards, it does feel very fancy. But pretty soon we were lining up on the runway and taking off to say goodbye once again to Japan on a really murky evening. And well, that was that, my last ever view of Japan, for now at least. I'll be back again soon, hopefully, to fly on some more of their airlines. Our route tonight then took us east out of Japan to cross the Pacific Ocean before, well, coasting in over California before we landed at San Francisco. Flight time tonight was 8 hours and 35 minutes, cruising at 33, 35 and 37,000 feet.
It's time for the Noel Phillips Loo Review.
It is time for the Noel Phillips loo review, and it's time for the Noel Phillips Japanese loo review. And yes, my love of Japanese toilets continues, because here on the All Nippon Airlines 777 we have a Japanese loo, and it has all of these settings. Look, we have a front, we have a back, we have a soft, and we can adjust the water pressure as well. And we have the stop button, the emergency stop, and I have to say, maybe TMI, while I've been in Japan, I have been using some Japanese loos. They are flipping amazing. Honestly, like the best thing ever. I need to get one in my life back home. These things are just incredible. Well, the ANA 777 has a Japanese loo with all the different sort of water pressure settings, so you can squirt your bum from all different angles. It's really, really good. Yeah, that's that anyway. And then we've got this lovely sort of effect, slate wall thing. The floor is very nice and slaty too as well, like a wood effect. Bog roll's just there. Not that you need a lot of bog roll when you've got a Japanese loo to give you a nice clean backside. Anyway, we've got mouthwash, which is interesting. We've got toothbrush and paste, and then we've got the sink here with a contactless like sinky thing. There we go. Yeah, and a nice big mirror as well. I'm not going to demo the Japanese loo on this video, because that might get me demonetized and might even get my video taken down, but you can imagine I am going to try it later on in the flight, I think. Yes, there we go. Oh, and there's like a little footstool thing down here as well. I don't know why Japanese toilets seem to have little stools in them as well. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe Japanese viewers could fill me in on that. But anyway, it's an interesting loo. It's a nice Japanese loo, and I intend to make full use of it on this flight.
That was the Noel Phillips Loo Review.
Alright, before we get too far into the flight, I'm going to go through the amenity kit that we have got, because pretty soon I'm hoping to get these big doors shut and get to sleep. So here is the amenity kit on the ANA 777. It's a Globetrotter brand, like Del Boy, like a Del Boy brand. The Trotter's independent trading. Let's have a look what's inside. Not a great deal is the answer. What do we got? Let's have a look. We have some Shiro face mist. That's actually quite handy. I do like that stuff. Lip balm. It's nice. A bit of a crappy quality eye mask. It's not that great. Toothbrush and paste, just like we have in the bathroom. And then earplugs. And then that's about it. Something else, just leaflets about Globetrotter brand and ANA. That's pretty much it. It's a bit of a weak amenity kit, I have to say. Although the case is quite nice, that might come in handy for cables and stuff. But to be honest, what's in it is a bit sort of cheap, really. Hate to say, it's a bit cheap. And you know what? Right, I haven't paid a lot for this flight because I've flown from Kuala Lumpur. No, I've not. I've flown from Bangkok. I'm even forgetting where I've been. I've flown from Bangkok. The price of this flight from Tokyo to San Francisco, if you buy it, it's like £8,000. £8,000. I mean, the seat's nice, but like plastic glasses and not very good amenity kits. I don't know. I do have to say though that this seat on the ANA 777 is far superior to that we had on the 787. If you're getting a flight on ANA across the Pacific, make sure you get a flight that has a 777 on it, and make sure it's one that's got this room thing on it, because this is just unbelievably superior to the 787 or the 777 without this product on it. If you don't get the room on an ANA 777, you might as well fly United or something, because that's probably a bit better than ANA's 787 or standard 777. This is quite nice though, this one. If you get this one, it's quite nice. I'm going to shut the doors. So we've got two buttons here to shut these doors here. This is pretty cool. So we've got this one here, which does that one. And then we've got another one over here. I move all my crap out of the way. We've got this button here. So we press it and it does this one. And there we go. We have a full private suite on board the ANA 777. That's completely closed off now. So we've got a completely private suite, although it is like open up there. It's a bit like the Qatar Airways Q suite, really. Albeit probably a little bit bigger, I'd say, a little bit wider than the Q suite is. The Q suite's a bit narrower than this. This is quite nice. There is a bit of a gap there, but it's not. It's pretty much just private now, and it's quite nice. It's we've got about 8 hours left to run to San Francisco. I'm going to try and put this bed down and try and get a little bit of sleep, and I will see you in the morning, I think. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Good night. Good morning. I've woken up about 2.5 hours out of San Fran now. So that means I got about, doing the maths in my head, about sort of 4.5 hours sleep, maybe. The bed's not massively comfortable. To say it's such a big looking bed, it's actually not that big, because I can't actually get my legs to go all the way to the bottom there. I mean, look, my head's like right up here at the top, and my feet won't touch. You sort of have to lay like on an angle across there, which is really uncomfortable. And it's quite lumpy as well, the bed, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame, because it's a nice suite on the 777. It's just not that comfy. Right, so I'm going to have a little look at the in-flight entertainment options that we've got on the 777. So we've got, if we go to the main sort of menu here, we compare the entertainment system in our personal device using the ANA app, which I've not got the app, but it seems that means that you can sort of cast stuff to the screen and stuff, which is pretty decent. I like it when you can do that. It's pretty nice, pretty cool. So if we got a kids mode, by the way, which is pretty cool. We can pop it in kids mode so they don't get like adult stuff. But if we hit continue here, so we've got a choice of movies. We've got Hollywood and more, similar movies to what we had over on the 787, but it's just a really much nicer interface. Really, really nice. And then if we go to live TV, again we've got live TV, but now instead of just having a sort of option to just choose it, you can actually see what's on as well, which is quite nice. So you can pop the Comedy News Network on, have a look at what they've got going on. It's high quality as well. It's full HD by the looks of it. It's pretty decent. The interface is just much nicer, I find, on here than it was on the 787. We can look at BBC News here. If we go to My Flight, we've also got the option here. We've got the onboard cameras, which is pretty cool. I mean, look at this. This is amazing, isn't it? So this is the front camera, but it's showing like the heading, the speed and the altitude and everything on here. 74% travelled on the flight. This is pretty sweet. I like this. There's the front view. The downward view will just be clouds. Yeah, there we go. And then we can pop the map up in this corner as well, which is quite nice. But then if you want the full map, we can sort of close this and go to Sky Map. And then we've got this option here, which again shows you all the information about the flight. They're really intuitive, really easy to use system. And it goes into the sort of whole sort of animation thing. Honestly, this entertainment system on the 777 is nicer, far superior to the one that they've got on the Dreamliner, so that's really nice. Definitely, they've got a good choice of movies and stuff as well on there. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to think that I'm nitpicking and moaning for moaning's sake, but when you fly usually on an airline in business class, you generally get given, before your meal, they'll give you like a hot towel or something, or a cold towel depending on the airline. It's usually like a towel, they're not necessarily that good, you know, and they just come around and hand them out for you, and then you get your little hot towel so that you can sort of wash your hands and whatever with it before you eat your dinner. On ANA, you don't get hot towels. What you get is like a packet with a wet wipe in it instead. And like, that's, you know, it's good and all that they're sort of thinking of that, but you get that instead of a hot towel. If you were to fly on Singapore or something, you get a hot towel instead. It's just little things like that. It just feels a bit cheap.
And just to prove the bit about hot towels, my very next flight after this was just a domestic hop on a United 737, and we got hot towels as well as a really nice meal. If United can do that on a domestic flight, why can't ANA do it on a long-haul premium flight like this?
Alright, breakfast has turned up, or I don't know, it's more lunch I think, but I've gone for the international option again because again it's free breakfast and I don't really fancy having sushi for breakfast. It's it doesn't sit well with me at that time in the morning, unfortunately, so I've gone for the Western breakfast, or the international breakfast as it's called. Got chopsticks, I can eat me food with my chopsticks. Right, okay, so what do we got? Ooh. Looks like, I'm not sure what that is, we'll try that in a minute. We have a booby bun, and we have a bit of a sort of pudding. Yeah, let's give this food a go. Oh, it's like pasta, like a pasta type dish. I mean, that's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not fantastic, but it's all right.
ANA hit the headlines in a bad way earlier this year for an errand fare that went viral, offering flights from Asia to the US in business class for just a few $100s. They initially announced that they'd honour all of the mistake fares, allowing people to book connecting flights and hotels, before backtracking and announcing that actually they weren't going to honour the fares after all. When people called to request a refund, some of them reported being told by ANA that the sort of people who booked error fares aren't the sort of clientele that they want to attract to fly ANA.
Alright, then starting our descent down into San Francisco. This trip has been like incredible. I've literally left home in Houston 9 days ago, and just 9 days ago. And from there I went Houston to Chicago Midway with Southwest, then I went Air France obviously to Paris and Cairo. Then I did a night in Cairo, then I had Qatar Airways to Doha and then on to Sydney. I had a night in Sydney, Singapore Airlines up to Singapore and Kuala Lumpur, night in KL. Where did I go from Kuala Lumpur? Oh, Shanghai. Shanghai Airlines up to Shanghai, with the C919 across to Chengdu, Cathay down to Hong Kong, then up to Tokyo, Airdo from Tokyo up to Sapporo, train back down to Tokyo, then Zip Air across to Bangkok, and then this flight ANA back to Tokyo, and then back to San Francisco. Then when I get to San Fran, I've got to get on a United flight back home to Houston. That is going to be just me relaxing. I think no filming, no cameras, just 3 hours of just chilling. And so yeah, it's always good to be back after these trips. They are pretty flipping exhausting, I have to say, because literally just filming. Some days I've done 3 videos on this trip. That was my record on this trip, 3 videos in one day. Not long now, we'll be back in the US.
And looking back at this trip makes me realise just how lucky I am to have this as my job. I mean, sure, it's a lot of work. Sure, even when I'm not travelling, I'm working 14-hour days, 7 days a week. But, you know, I'd rather have this job than anything else I've ever done. And so I'd just like to say thank you to all of you so much for watching my weekly ramblings and giving me the opportunities I've had through doing this. My flight from Bangkok to San Francisco cost me $1,365 or around about £1,000 British. Now, was it worth it? Well, probably if you can pick it up cheap like I did, but little things like losing my seat reservation, the 787 seats that weren't brilliant, plastic cups, wet wipes and the terrible lounge in Tokyo, well, they all just make almost any other airline seem better. Now, I realise more than anyone else how crazy I must sound criticising a product that's only a few years ago even I wouldn't have dreamed of being able to travel in. And I realise that far more people travel in economy than in business class. But business class also costs a lot more money than economy class, and when you pay far more for a seat on ANA than you would on Singapore Airlines business class, for instance, you'd expect a far better product than Singapore Airlines to go with it. But the truth is, in my experience at least, that this is simply not the case. Now, don't get me wrong, ANA isn't bad. I mean, if you get the room on the 777, it's quite nice, but other than that, it's a pretty mediocre product, really. And I know I'm going to take a bit of flack for this, but honestly, I have to say I did prefer my flight with United from Singapore to San Francisco in their Polaris class than I did with my ANA flight. But let me know what you thought to ANA down in the comments. Have you flown with them before, and did they live up to the hype?
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right, and welcome back to the US and welcome to San Francisco. Now let's just see how long it takes to get through global entry and whether I make my connecting flight. Right, I stepped off the plane at minute 35. It's now minute 41 and I am through and heading to TSA for my next flight. Global entry is just like amazing. If you haven't got it, apply for it. It's proper cool, right? Let's go and get my next flight. All right then, exactly 31 minutes after stepping off the ANA 777, I'm at the gate waiting for my next flight over to Houston on this United 737-900. I've signed up for Clear as well. I didn't think I could actually have Clear. It's like another version of, or an extra version of pre-check. It lets you skip the lines at security and stuff. And I thought being British I wasn't able to do that, but apparently with a Texas driving license or a US driving license you can. So I'm signed up for that now as well. I'm off to go back home and get some rest because I think I need it after this trip. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.